That was a very interesting way for Goku to come back. I gotta hand it. I definitely gotta hand it to Goku. That quick thinking of how he shot a ki blast in the sky, and then he used that to bring himself back, that was very quick thinking. I got to say, good job, Goku. Good job, Goku, on that quick thinking. That was impressive. So with that being said, before I get into talking about this episode of Dragon Ball Super, I want to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, because, you know, today is Christmas, and I mean, it may already be done with Christmas by the time you watch this video. I mean, it could be many days later, I have no idea, but if you somehow watch this after Christmas, or you watch this maybe a week from now when I upload it, or a long time from now, I just want to wish you a very great day, and many great days ahead of you, and many years as well, because I love you guys. And so, with that being said, let us start this Dragon Ball Super review. So, this episode, it concludes the fight between Hit and Goku, and all the stuff that we speculated about in last week's episode turned out to be true. Goku is the one that hired Hit. We either thought it was Whis or it was Hit, Goku that hired, Hit to come after Goku. It was one or the other. It was definitely training, and from what we see was that, yes, Goku was doing training. He wanted to fight Hit, and it was training the entire time. And so, this episode, or the way this arc was done, in general, like this little 2-episode mini-arc, it was thanks to Goku setting it up for him wanting to train and fight Hit to be able to fight against him, and just to see if he can improve himself to be able to just go up against this man that is constantly getting stronger and stronger each time Goku faces him. So, Goku, he manages to kind of overcome Hit's abilities. Hit still is kind of very strong, and at the end of the day of this episode, Goku doesn't necessarily win, and Hit doesn't necessarily win. I mean, we could say probably Hit is the superior one at the end of the day when it comes to the fight, because, I mean, the man was showing that he's very talented, skilled, and he was constantly beating the shit out of Goku. The only way Goku most likely would be able to win is if he used Kaioken. That's the only way I could assume he'd be able to beat Hit and take him down. If it wasn't for that, it seems like Hit would have the upper hand. He would instantly be able to most likely win. So, Goku's fight, one of the big things about this fight that definitely was for the training was Goku being able to stay in a state of combat, awareness, without really being aware. Kind of how, Whis was telling him a while back in, the Resurrection of Frieza, that saga. We see the build-up with that, and we see it in this arc. These 2 episodes really focus on that. You see Goku where he closes his eyes and he tries to feel out where Hit is around him. He's like, Hit feels like he's in front of me, but he's probably behind me, and he's feeling him all around. He's able to counter and react in a way that without him really thinking that hard. And so it shows that Goku is definitely undergoing a lot of training, especially what, we said in, the Resurrection of Frieza saga, that arc. So, I do like what this, this mini-arc tried to do. I do. Now, talking about Hit's character and Goku's character, it's pretty much a rival. There's, like, a new rivalry that's been formed between these 2 characters. We already knew they were going to be kind of enemies/rivals because of how the, the tournament arc was done a couple of arcs ago. But with this, we see it to where Hit's like, is there a time limit on the assassination? He asked Goku this. He's like, is there a time limit on it? And Goku's like, no, not really. And so Hit's like, okay, that's good. That means I'll come back one day. I don't have to do it now. I'll come back one day and finish the job. You better watch your back, Goku. So Hit's like saying, I will come back one day, Goku. One of these days I want to come back and I will finish the job and try to kill you. So for now, you're fine, but I will come back. And so, I like that. It's kind of like saying, Goku, you always need to be aware that I'm going to be out there and I could come at any moment to kill you. And so, it's kind of like Goku's constantly going to be getting training. Because remember, one of the big things about last week's episode was that Goku, he was actually dodging people without really even thinking. How he dodged Chi-Chi, how he dodged Bulma. He dodged them without even thinking at all. And that's kind of what's been going on here. That was the whole point of Hit and why he was coming after Goku, was Goku to be constantly aware and on guard, but not really have to think too much on it. And that's what's happening here. With Hit saying like he will always be around or he can come at any time, Goku needs to watch his back, Goku's going to have this barrier on guard constantly. He's going to be like, holy shit, Hit can come at any time to try to kill me, and I need to make sure I'm completely aware of this. So Goku's going to be constantly undergoing training until Hit decides to come back and say he's going to finish the score, or Hit says he's just done with this hit and this assassination, and he's just going to move on. One or the other is going to happen. So Goku's going to be constantly getting training because of what was said at the end of this arc. Now, with that being said, let's talk about Vegeta for a second. So Vegeta, still going through his training, and I really do hope Vegeta gets some really good special training too, very soon. Because, I mean, I want Vegeta and Goku to remain as equals, and I'm starting to feel like, once again, the series is starting to try to focus more on Goku than Vegeta, and I mean, as I talked about in the last week's episode of Dragon Ball Super, I stated that there's been a lot of key signs that the animators and all that have been making us want to focus on Vegeta. For instance, every time, you know, someone's talking about Goku, we see an expression of Vegeta to where he feels like he's upset or he's being excluded. You just see how he acts like very upset. I talked about this quite a bit in my last week's episode review, and I mean, I really hope this is foreshadowing / setup for Vegeta's potential growth as a character to become even stronger. And so if he does, you know, like, you know, he has like his own little mini arc or something with his growth, I would like to see that. I really do hope that it does happen for Dragon Ball Super, because I mean, Goku's had his own little training now. I'd like to see Vegeta have his own little mini training as well. So hopefully, you know, Dragon Ball Super does do that with the next episode or maybe the next arc or something. I mean, we do know that there was an announcement recently, which actually I don't think I covered this in last week's episode review, so I'm going to cover it here. So if you're unaware, it was announced that the, you know, All the Universe, the tournament, you know, for All the Universes, that arc is coming out, I think, in January or February. It's one of those, you know, months. I forget if it's going to be in February or January, but in February or January, the entirety of All the Universes are going to be having their arc. You know, that big grand universe tournament? Well, that's happening. That's happening very soon. And I'm kind of just shocked about that, to be honest, because, I mean, I didn't think it would be that soon. I expected that to be probably one of the last arcs of Dragon Ball Super, because, I mean, that's going to have some in-game level people there. I mean, you're going to have, you know, all the different gods being showcased. You're going to have, you know, the Kais most likely. You're going to get to see all these strong people from the different universes and stuff. A lot of world building is going to happen, and I mean, I'm just kind of shocked right now. I mean, there's just so much we could still learn from the other universe we recently found out about, and so just seeing how we're getting into this new arc that's going to introduce all these other universes, I wonder if there's going to be more to this arc than meets the eye. Maybe it's not just going to be a standard traditional tournament arc. It might, you know, I guess turn into something completely different. I mean, let's look at the Buu Saga from Dragon Ball Z. I mean, the Buu Saga, it started off with a World Martial Arts Tournament. Goku came back from the dead for a day to, you know, participate in the World Martial Arts Tournament. But then Buu came about and all that, and then that just turned into a completely different arc from what we expected. So maybe this entire universal arc, you know, all the universes coming together and having their, you know, tournament, maybe this will be a different type of arc entirely. Maybe like some form of god will try to rebel or something. Maybe a new god will come about. Maybe something else will happen. I have no idea. But I mean, something might happen that could be different from the traditional tournament. Because I mean, if we think about it, there's already been a tournament arc for, you know, Dragon Ball Super. I would dislike to see another one this soon. I mean, even though it's like 20 episodes ago since the last one, I still feel like we shouldn't have that many tournaments in Dragon Ball Super. At the very least, the exact same thing. If we're going to have another tournament, it's not going to be its own separate thing. I would like to see it a lot darker, something a lot more grim, something a lot dire. Like, you know, they're really having to fight. And if they lose, it's like GG. It's all over for maybe their entire planet or their universe. I'd like to see something like that. So hopefully the upcoming arc that's going to be coming up in the next couple months is a little bit different from what happened with, you know, the Universe 6 and 7 arc that we got. Now, with that being said, however, I feel like, you know, the fighting overall between Hit and Goku, it was enjoyable. I mean, Hit's abilities of how he had invisible ki and stuff, I like that. It fits an assassin. It fits his type of character, so I really have no problems with it overall. I mean, his entire kit, the way he, you know, he fights and stuff, it's just, it fits an assassin. I mean, he can, you know, time leap, you know, he can, like, enter into a different dimension with his ability, and I mean, on top of that, he can, you know, like, mask his, you know, presence. He can make it to where he appears, like, in front of you, but in reality, he's just behind you. So, I mean, Hit's overall moveset, it's exactly like an assassin, and it fits him. So, I can't wait to see, you know, Dragon Ball Xenoverse maybe adding more of his moves into the game. I would like to see, like, his invisible ki blast, or maybe, you know, his time leap and stuff added into the Dragon Ball Xenoverse game, because, I mean, some of his abilities are pretty fucking awesome that was displayed in this episode, and I'd like to see them in the game that, you know, came out recently for Dragon Ball. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.